Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about some of the most recent news in the NBA today. As today was announced that 3 teams are interested in Miami Heat small forward / shooting guard Max Strus, as it was announced that the Orlando Magic, Detroit Pistons, and Indiana Pacers, who all have very solid cap space to spend in free agency, have some solid money to spend in this year's free agency, as free agency opens up on Friday at 3 o'clock. And now there are 3 teams that are interested and reported to be interested in Heat small forward Max Strus. As Strus had a great playoff run for the Miami Heat, shot the ball amazing for the Heat in their playoff run, played well. I think he had a great game too in the finals game. He had multiple good games in the playoffs. But in the regular season, averaged 11.5 points per game, shot 35% from 3 this season for the Miami Heat. Averaged 2 assists per game with 3.2 rebounds per game. And I talked about how he shot 35% for 3. Just had a really good, solid season. Stepped up for the Heat. He's been solid for the Heat in the past before this year, but this year he really took a jump and was way better than he's been in the past for the Heat. Definitely his best season of his career. And now, after having a great playoff run and a great regular season, he's going into a contract year and is expected to make some big money in free agency. The Heat want to re-sign him, but because of his, the good run he had in the playoffs with the Heat and how good of basketball he played in the Heat's playoff run from all the way from the first round to the NBA Finals, I don't know if the Heat are going to be able to re-sign him. There's multiple guys they need to re-sign. They need to re-sign Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. I think they could potentially afford to re-sign both of those guys. But I honestly think it maybe could come to the point where the Heat have to decide on re-signing one or the other, just because I feel like both guys are going to be offered a lot of money from teams that can spend the money. Just with Max Strus and Gabe Vincent's playoff run. But I feel like Max Strus would be a amazing fit for the Orlando Magic. I don't know when, but I do see Gary Harris and the Orlando Magic moving on. I don't really know, some potential places he might get traded to, but I do really think that Gary Harris will be traded this offseason for the Orlando Magic, and the 2 sides will move on. So in that case, you kind of need a Gary Harris replacement. He didn't do much, but he shot the ball a lot Gary Harris shot 43% from 3 this season for the Magic and shot the ball really well. That's something Max Strus is going to do. He hit almost 200 3-pointers for the Heat this season on 35% 3-point shooting. So off the bench, most likely that's where Strus is going to be. Strus is most likely going to be coming off the bench. He's going to provide the type of role that Gary Harris provided off the bench, and he's going to be a better, he's way better than Gary Harris is. He's a solid defensive player as well. He's a Gary Harris replacement if they, are able to find a trade partner to get rid of him, and it's a way better Gary Harris replacement. And I honestly think, you add in some playoff experience with some of this young core that Orlando has. Because Orlando has they have a good young team. Jalen Suggs, Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Cole Anthony. Just added in Markelle Fultz as well. Just added in Jet Howard and Anthony Black in the draft. A couple other nice young players as well. They have Bo Bull. They have Mo Wagner, Franz's brother. They have a couple other Wendell Carter Jr. It's just full. It's full of young guys. And Max Strus isn't old. He's 27 years old, which with all those other young guys on this roster, he's an older guy for being on that Magic roster with all the young talent they have. But he has playoff experience. He's been playing with the Heat. Had a finals run with the Heat this year, and has been in their rotation in a good team, and to provide some playoff experience, just some good, he's a good basketball player as well. I just think it'd be a good fit for the Heat. I mean, a good fit. It would be a really good fit for the Magic. And if you look at some of the guys the Magic have had interest in, We've only heard about two other names that the Magic have had interest in free agency. Those two other names are Gary Trent Jr. and Grant Williams. Now, the thing with Gary Trent Jr. is I could maybe still see the Magic being interested in Gary Trent Jr., but he accepted his $17 million player option, or was it? It might have been 18. $18 million player option to stay with the Raptors. So if they want Gary Trent Jr., now they have to trade for him, which I don't think would be that hard. Maybe trade Jonathan Isaac and a first-round pick for Gary Harris, just throwing that out there. I mean, not Gary Harris, for Gary Trent Jr. Got my Garys mixed up. So maybe sending Jonathan Isaac and a first-round pick to the Raptors for Trent Jr. would work. If they wanted to still get Gary Trent Jr., maybe they just wanted to sign him. I don't know what their plans were with, getting Gary Trent Jr. I don't know if they still... We haven't heard anything about that, but I don't know if they still have interest in Trent Jr. But if they wanted to, they can sign Max Strus and Grant Williams to deals. They can sign both of those guys and maybe still do more in free agency to add in veteran experience. I mean, it's not like Max Strus or Grant Williams are, they're not huge vets, but they have playoff and finals experience, as both players have played in the finals over the last couple years, and also they're both really good players and would be great for with the roster with some of the younger guys that don't really have experience to come into the playoffs. I think the Magic, they're going to try to make a change this season. The Magic, I think they're at the point where they were like the 11th or 12th seed last year. They were really good in the second half of the season. I think the Magic are gonna try to come to a point where they're gonna try to be at least maybe play-in type roster, especially with adding Anthony Black and Jet Howard in the draft, having some trade assets in Jonathan Isaac and Gary Harris Jr., having the money to spend to at least get multiple good free agents. They have the money to bring in either both Max Strus and Grant Williams or somebody else. They had the money, when we thought Gary Trent Jr. was going to be a free agent. They had the money. They had the money to bring in both Gary Trent Jr. and Grant Williams if they wanted to, back when we thought Trent Jr. would be a free agent. So this Magic team, I think, they were solid last year. They went last year. They were the 11 seed. I think they were the 11 seed, but they might have been the 12. Them improving the roster with the draft and some trade assets and free agency cap space to spend. I really do think that the Magic are going to improve next season to the point where I feel like the Magic can maybe be a play-in type team next year if you bring in the right guys next to this young core that they have. So to bring in some play-in, some playoff type, roster players like Max Strus or Grant Williams or both guys to the Magic's roster, I honestly think would be great for the Orlando Magic. Here's some of your thoughts on the potential signing. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.